Tick, tick, boom. Andrew Garfield.
In an industry built on fame, ego, and control, Andrew Garfield was never supposed to fit in. He wasn't loud. He wasn't the kind of man who craved the camera. Yet somehow, this quiet soul from Surrey became one of Hollywood's most magnetic and emotional performers. A man whose vulnerability turned into his greatest power. Behind the mask of Spider-Man, there was no arrogance, no invincibility, only pain, honesty, and heart. But while the world saw him as the charming superhero, Andrew was silently wrestling with something deeper. The fear of losing himself to the machine of fame. How did a boy torn between two worlds, British restraint and American ambition, rise to global stardom, fall from Hollywood's grace and return stronger than ever? This is not the story of a blockbuster star. It's the story of an artist who fought for authenticity in a world built on illusion. This is Andrew Garfield. Andrew Russell Garfield was born in Los Angeles in 1983, but his story didn't truly begin there. When he was just 3 years old, his family moved across the Atlantic to the quiet town of Epsom, Surrey, England. His father, Richard, was a swimming coach. His mother, Lynn, worked in the healthcare system. Life was modest, structured, and filled with warmth. But Andrew often felt like he existed between worlds. Not fully American, not fully British. As a child, he was small, sensitive, and endlessly curious. He loved to build stories, draw characters, and disappear into imaginary worlds. While other kids chased footballs, Andrew chased emotions. He would later say, "I didn't want to perform for attention. I wanted to understand people." That empathy came from his mother, who taught him compassion, and from his father, who showed him discipline. Years later, when Lynn passed away during the filming of Tick, Tick, Boom, Andrew would describe it as the moment his heart broke, but also the moment his art became truth. Those early years shaped him not just as an actor, but as a soul who would forever search for meaning in every role he played. Andrew's journey to acting didn't start on a red carpet. It began on the small stages of London. He trained at the Royal Central School of Speech and Drama, where his quiet intensity instantly stood out. While others performed to impress, Andrew performed to feel. Every line, every gesture carried a truth too deep for his age. His first roles came in British television: Sugar Rush, Doctor Who, Trial and Retribution. Short appearances, but each one a chance to prove he belonged. Then in 2007 came Boy A. He played a young man released from prison, haunted by guilt and desperate for redemption. The performance was raw, vulnerable, and heartbreakingly human, earning him the BAFTA Award for Best Actor. Critics called him the most promising British actor of his generation. But behind that praise, Andrew remained humble, even unsure. He once confessed, "I felt like an imposter. Fame wasn't the goal. Truth was." That truth would soon take him beyond the UK, to Hollywood, where destiny was waiting. A new era was about to begin, one that would test everything he believed about fame, identity, and art. When Andrew Garfield landed in Hollywood, he didn't chase fame. Fame came for him. His first taste of global attention arrived in The Social Network, 2010, where he played Eduardo Savarine, the betrayed co-founder of Facebook. It wasn't a flashy role. It was one of quiet pain, the kind Andrew embodied with devastating honesty. Audiences connected instantly. Here was an actor who could make heartbreak feel real. Then came the call that would change everything: Spider-Man. In 2012, Andrew stepped into the suit as Peter Parker in The Amazing Spider-Man, taking on one of cinema's most iconic roles. But unlike his predecessors, Andrew's Spider-Man wasn't just heroic. He was human. He laughed nervously, he cried openly, he loved deeply. For the first time, the world saw a superhero who could break inside and still choose to rise. The chemistry between Andrew and Emma Stone, his real-life partner, ignited both on and off screen. They became Hollywood's golden couple, beloved, talented, seemingly unstoppable. The films grossed hundreds of millions, making Andrew a household name. He attended premieres, interviews, red carpets. Yet behind the smiles, he felt uneasy. He once admitted, "I wanted the experience of Spider-Man to be about love and art, but suddenly it was about profit and control." Success had arrived, but so had the machine, and for a man who valued sincerity over spectacle, the spotlight began to burn. What began as a dream role soon turned into a test of identity, a reminder that in Hollywood, the higher you fly, the thinner the air becomes. Fame for Andrew Garfield was never a reward. It was a burden disguised as success. After The Amazing Spider-Man 2 released in 2014, the headlines should have celebrated him. Instead, they turned against him. The movie's mixed reception, combined with Sony's corporate shakeup, left Andrew caught in the crossfire. Whispers spread that he had been difficult to work with, moody, uncooperative, arrogant. In truth, he had simply refused to play by Hollywood's rules. Behind closed doors, Andrew was exhausted. He'd poured his heart into Spider-Man, only to watch the role taken away when Sony rebooted the franchise. His dream had been reduced to a business deal. "I felt broken," he later said. "I was Spider-Man, and then I wasn't. It was like mourning someone who never existed." As his professional life crumbled, so did his personal one. His relationship with Emma Stone, once the beating heart of his world, quietly ended. Paparazzi hunted him. Tabloids painted him as reclusive, unstable, or worse, irrelevant. For a time, Andrew vanished completely. No interviews, no red carpets, just silence. While the world speculated, he searched inward. He retreated to theater, to solitude, to spirituality. He studied grief, loss, and the fragility of ego. Not as a celebrity, but as a man. Hollywood had chewed him up, but what it didn't realize was that it had only sharpened him. From that darkness, a quieter, wiser Andrew Garfield began to emerge, one who no longer needed to be Spider-Man to feel heroic. After years away from the spotlight, Andrew Garfield returned, not as a blockbuster star, but as a man reborn through vulnerability. His comeback wasn't loud or triumphant. It was spiritual. In 2016, he delivered a career-defining performance in Hacksaw Ridge. As Desmond Doss, a soldier who refused to carry a gun, Andrew embodied pure conviction and grace. His portrayal earned him an Oscar nomination and reminded the world of what he truly was, a storyteller of the soul. Then came Silence, Martin Scorsese's haunting exploration of faith and suffering. Andrew starved himself, both physically and emotionally, to inhabit the pain of his character. He described it as a holy experience, a journey into my own spirit. Years later, with Tick, Tick, Boom, he transformed grief into art. Filming it after his mother's death, Andrew poured every ounce of love and loss into the role. The result was not just a performance, it was a confession. He reminded audiences that creativity can heal what the world breaks. Through every setback, he had learned that authenticity is stronger than fame. Andrew Garfield was no longer chasing Hollywood. He was redefining it. Today, Andrew Garfield stands not as a celebrity chasing fame, but as an artist who found freedom in truth. He doesn't dominate tabloids or chase trends, yet his presence lingers, powerful and undeniable. From Boy A to Hacksaw Ridge, from Silence to Tick, Tick, Boom. He's proven that acting can still be sacred, a bridge between pain and empathy. He once said, "Fame is the lie, art is the prayer," and that prayer echoes through every performance he gives. In a world obsessed with superheroes, Andrew became something rarer, a human being unafraid to feel. His story isn't about fame won or lost. It's about the courage to stay real when everything around you is fake. The journey of Andrew Garfield is proof that even the gentlest souls can leave the deepest marks. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more untold tales of Hollywood's brightest and bravest stars.